Wubba lubba dub dub, my fellow squanches. Who's ready to talk some Rick and Morty, and Summer and Jerry, and Beth and Space Beth?
Nobody wants to see a Beth's adventure.
Well, too bad, because we got a whole Beth season this time around, and honestly, I'm not as mad about it as my former self might have been. I still have nightmares about those incense seasons. But hey, we've come out on the other side of it, and dare I say, better for it? Well, I wouldn't go that far. We are now 2 seasons removed from the Justin Roiland era, and the show is really taking some solid strides in this new direction. It was certainly a controversial decision and not entirely justified to kick Roiland off the show, but hey, life moves on, and so must Rick and Morty.
It's just Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty and their adventures, Morty. Rick and Morty forever and forever 100 years. Rick and Morty some things.
And besides, at the end of the day, nothing truly matters. Nothing except for watching the newest batch of episodes, that is. So if you missed Season 8's run on Adult Swim, well, you're in luck. It just released on HBO Max this past week. Yes, they reverted back to the old name. They're about as confident as Jerry is. Which means now is the perfect time to revisit the season and rank every episode from the worst to the best. If you were one of the dozens of people
There are dozens of us. Dozens!
who are tuning into my weekly episode reviews, this list today won't be too shocking, but I did update most of my ratings just a tad, accounting for the rewatchability factor and just my overall taste and preferences after having let these episodes sit for a while. To tell the truth, I was a huge fan of Season 7. I thought it took bold strides with 0 B-plots, an updated sense of humor, and embracing the show's canon more so than seasons prior, and overall, Season 8 to me felt like a fantastic follow-up. It was a highly consistent season with lower highs but also higher lows, and with several thematic through lines, the main one revolving around Rick, the Beds, and their traumatic past. The season did feel a bit mundane at times, but I think it's due to a healthy recalibration which the show very much needed to force a collective breath, not just on the characters but on us fans and the creative team as well, to actually take a step back and reflect on current story arcs and character development, to clear the way and lay the foundation for future sagas to come. As we talked about and speculated during the season's midpoint, Season 8 was designed to force its characters to grapple with who they are and reflect on who they actually want to be. And it's a bit meta in that the creators themselves had to do the very same thing regarding the new identity of this show.
Look, I understand story. Let me just put everything back that you took out.
Jerry, stop! You'll only make things worse. You're a terrible writer, and you should never, ever get on the keys.
Well, excuse me for living.
But of course, as with any season, there has to be an episode at the bottom, and so today, I'm starting things off spicy yet again with my first potentially hot take of the day. That's right, coming in at number 10 is Episode 3, The Rick, the Mort, and the Ugly.
A new Citadel. You Ricks don't have many original ideas, do you?
I would not be shocked if this were some fans' favorite episode of the season, or at least top 3. It certainly has its moments with sparse but witty humor, explosive action, and themes of self-worth, responsibility, and redemption, all of which are quite in line with Season 8's overall approach. But really, what it comes down to for me here is that this just felt like a very disconnected epilogue for the Citadel saga, which I had already thought had been nicely wrapped up seasons prior.
Don't worry, Morty. We still got a way out they never thought of. Operation Phoenix.
Doesn't that still mean like death?
Sure, but the joke's on them because we just found a backdoor to getting off this rock.
I've enjoyed the Citadel saga for most of its run. I will never forget the surprise reveal with the Rick Lantis mix-up and seeing Evil Morty's rise to fame and power, but with Rick Prime now dead, Evil Morty doubly gone, and the Citadel destroyed beyond recognition, I was more than ready to move on to the next thing. And I don't know if this episode is the writer's way of finally saying goodbye to it for good, or if it's just more set up to string it further along, to remind us it's still a thing and to keep that door open, but either way, I did not feel connected to this story, or even all that invested in Homesteader's Rick character, because it just felt like leftovers of what was once a great plotline.
Calm down, Morty. I'm almost done collecting Citadel wreckage.
I am calm.
Your fidget spinning has a passive aggressiveness to it.
I can be calm and bored.
I'm sorry, but I have to agree with Rick this time around.
Morty, I can't imagine anything worse than having to know.
As I mentioned earlier, it does feel like season 7 and 8 have been putting to rest a lot of the storylines that made Rick and Morty as popular as it once was, which to be fair, they've balanced nicely by simply revisiting other side adventures and bringing back older characters. But even the episode right before this one showed the fallout of the remnants of the Galactic Federation, a once persistent thorn in Rick's side. So there's still hope this is the writers saying goodbye to the Citadel, but even if this episode does turn out to be an epilogue of sorts, pivoting to a clone-based story about a bunch of degenerate Ricks just didn't do it for me.
Fashion, cyclical, babe. I'm retro.
And so, moving on to number 9, I have the first and really one and only Rick and Morty solo adventure this season, Episode 5, Cryomort a Rick River. Now, I mentioned in my reviews that reportedly Summer of All Fears was originally scheduled as Episode 5, which led me to believe that this was originally the season premiere. I haven't been able to confirm that yet, perhaps Valkyrie Rick was supposed to be the premiere instead, which would have worked just as well, seeing as it would have framed the season's Rick and Beth storyline quite nicely. But on my rewatch, I did go ahead and start with this one, and I have to say, there were a few elements that made this one a lot more impactful, especially since I knew where the season's headed. Don't get me wrong, it's still a very mid-episode, but story-wise, this just worked a bit better as a season premiere in my eyes. For one, Morty's comment at the end where he worries about Rick choosing him hits a lot harder coming off the Fearhole finale from season 7.
You can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family.
But I am family, and you did choose me.
Yeah, it's a stupid quote.
Cryoship detected.
Secondly, this episode gives us hints that Rick perhaps had a strained relationship and or fallout with his own parents, which is why he clung so tightly to his fake ones here.
We love you, son.
We love you.
Yeah, love you guys too. Jesus, Morty! Doug and Karen's only crime is naively benefiting from systemic inequity.
Just grab the loot, you big baby.
Constellatio!
Rick, you okay?
Guess it's true. You can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family.
And while it is thematically good setup for the next episode where the Beths regress and confront their dad for leaving them, this would have served even better as the season premiere right ahead of Valkyrie Rick, which truly starts that season-long arc for the two.
Oh god, I'm turning into my father.
That's all you had to say, partner.
And last but not least, there was a lot of discussion surrounding Rick's changed character at the start of the season. He seemed a lot more forgiving and fun-loving, a bit more focused on being a family man than some petty intergalactic scientist.
Found it! I told you I checked between the seats.
When you're right, Morty. Told you I admit that kind of stuff now.
And I can admit you're right about that, Rick. You're really changing.
And while he's perhaps a bit pettier in this episode, that personality change is still quite evident.
No! Chicken coop cluster! It's all coops! Follow all coops!
Why would you roll the windows down?
I wanted the full experience!
On rewatch, this one line in particular struck me as super poignant because this pretty much sums up Rick's character this season. He has seemingly dealt with and moved past some trauma, not all of it, I mean we never fully do, having finished his lifelong quest of revenge, and now he can just be a full-time dad and grandpa and experience it fully. That's very much his new mindset this season.
Send the coordinates, I'll pick you up.
Really? Just like that?
Of course, just like that. You're my daughter, probably.
So for me, this works a lot better as a season premiere, but as an episode on its own, it's still rather underwhelming. It just throws way too many ideas at the wall with the hopes of seeing something stick. Classism, equality versus equity, religion, morality. On paper, those ideals can blend well together, but here they just felt incongruous and disingenuous. The episode moves so fast from one element to the next, and it just doesn't really contribute anything insightful to those conversations. Overall, it's a mid-adventure for the titular duo, and surprisingly, thankfully, that puts it towards the bottom of my list for this season. Which brings us to number 8, episode 9, Morty Daddy. As we'll continue to discuss today, Season 8 is perhaps the most cohesive season that we've gotten so far, thematically speaking. Basically, every episode plays into the central themes of reflecting on self-worth and overcoming trauma to recalibrate one's life. Much like how the season itself feels like a recalibration and soft creative reboot for the series. In all honesty, I thought the season was very innovative with this approach, especially seeing as it gave each character the proper time to reflect and took different angles with it each time so it never felt stale. Everyone is having to grip with their past in some form, and for Season 8 Morty, that's primarily here, where his son Morty Jr. seeks him out to exploit him for a sequel to the very book which defamed him.
I needed material for my new book. A sequel to my horrible father. It's my only book that made money. Let me punch you.
Humor-wise, the episode really depends on its pop culture references and Easter eggs scattered throughout both the Trash Moon and the B-plot, where Rick and Summer parody the Minority Report. That and his exceptional use of comedy's Rule of Three.
Jesus, Summer, you hit it with a pan?
I thought I would see it coming. I even teed it up a little. Gas. Oh, come on. Like, you didn't know I'd do that? Picked up on that, huh? Like, you didn't know this was coming?
I guess Summer has some foresight of her own this episode, huh?
Damn, rule of threes, huh?
Now, story-wise, this episode felt like a standard base hit for the show. I said in my review it's going to be the one that flies under the radar for most, and I still stand by that. It's not that it's terrible, it's just not all that memorable. However, I did really enjoy the messaging it offered, with Summer competing for Rick's attention with the Cogs, vying to prove her self-worth to both Rick and herself, with Morty Jr. being soft-cancelled, proving anyone can fall from grace, the higher you are, the farther you fall, and that trashy attitudes are contagious and, if not careful, all-consuming. By poking fun at cancel culture and trash talk, this almost felt like a semi-sequel to Ricker Than Fiction, at least thematically speaking. But then again, as you'll see, Season 8 is highly consistent with its messaging. And so, speaking of the devil, coming in at number 7, I have Episode 7, Ricker Than Fiction. This was yet another solid episode for the show that won't be a lot of people's favorite, but will be one that I'm at least excited to remember exists upon rewatch.
Not exactly Citizen Kane.
I kind of loved it.
Being Season 8's meta/story structure episode, this one fits into that same wheelhouse as Never Ricking Morty and Full Meta Jack Rick, not quite reaching the highs of Rick's Minutes or Morty's Mind Blowers, but also fully embracing that it doesn't have to. In fact, I'm quite pleased that they chose to go a different direction with it this season.
Now, we'll spend 5 years and $500 million making it, but in the end, know what will make fans like you like it? A f***ing miracle.
It's got some jokes that hit hard and some that fall completely flat. It brings some fresh ideas to the franchise while also being a bit stale, as it is yet another episode that dives into the ideas of story structure, or more specifically, Dan Harmon's fetish, the story circle. And that's partially what holds it back from reaching true greatness, in my opinion.
Movielizer, make us care.
However, that said, the lessons, the themes, even the silly arcs all amount to some great social commentary and help tie this one into the cohesive package that is Season 8, earning it a higher spot than the ones below it.
Movielizer! It makes movies at the speed of thought. I invented it during the title sequence. The Movielizer uses a prompt-driven CPU. I just type whatever tweaks I want and it auto-generates the rest.
For one, this pokes fun not just at AI and the uncreative slop it tends to produce, but also those blockbuster committee films that feel like nothing short of a chaotic mess, such as those seen at Marvel Studios in recent years.
It says the script is 3,000 pages and counting. Also, there's an error thing bleeping that says antagonist not found and no third act. Without an ending, you'll be stuck in the movie forever.
God damn it!
Well, you cut a bunch of stuff out willy-nilly. What did you expect?
It also pokes fun at the current Superman drama going on, and honestly, the timing of this episode in regards to Superman's release, combined with the guest appearances of both James Gunn and Zack Snyder, earns it all the brownie points in my book.
Yo, James Gunn.
Oh, hi, Zack Snyder.
Just saw your new cut of Superman, and word of advice, he's the man of steel, not the man of conversation.
Okay.
Do more shots of him punching, and here is a secret move. Start the punch at regular speed, and then you're gonna ramp it down.
It's not a fucking secret.
Much like the rest of Season 8, this episode tackles ideas of self-worth and traumatic responses as it bashes toxic fans who do nothing but complain and target innocent participants such as the actors and other fans themselves. This episode doesn't do anything to address that divide, it really only inflames it. However, this episode isn't meant for the toxic fans. It's a reminder to creators themselves that you just need to focus on delivering the best product you can to the passionate and loving fans that are out there.
Zach, we're not losing touch with the audience, are we? I mean, I gave notes on the goddamn Count Chocula movie this morning.
Was the portal green? That's Rick Sanchez. He doesn't represent real fans. He's just the smartest man in the universe.
This will definitely be a dated episode years from now, at least I hope it will be, but the messaging will, unfortunately, always remain true and relevant. The best thing that we can do is be like Jerry, ironically enough, by standing up for ourselves and what we believe in, no matter who might stand in our way. Remember, the bigger someone is, the harder they will fall. But coming in at number 6 and kicking off the greater stretch of episodes on my list today, I have the actual season premiere, Summer of All Fears.
The Matrix is obsolete!
What the hell? Oh shit, how long was I out?
I really enjoyed this one for what it was on first watch, and since then, it hasn't lost any of its muster. In fact, rewatching this one as the mid-season finale instead only cemented it as a supremely solid entry. It just does so much work in setting up key themes for Season 8, trauma and PTSD, individuality and self-value, empowering versus exploiting, parents raising versus befriending their kids, and of course, the usual what is real and nothing truly matters.
Who's gonna invest in you if you won't invest in yourself?
Just take whatever you want. Nothing out here f***ing matters.
Wonder who he learned that from.
I did a whole deep dive on the themes with my episode review, so check that out if you're interested, but upon rewatch, the element which really stuck out to me was Beth and her relationship with Summer.
Mommy! Get away from me, Rick! Mom! Rick put us in a simulated reality to teach us a lesson about taking his phone charger and not giving him back, and then he fell asleep and forgot about us for the Matrix equivalent of 17 years!
Summer is basically playing out this 17 again storyline, coming out of the Matrix with twice as much experience in life, and going back to conquer the high school scene, only to learn things are different now, and she should just embrace her matured self, essentially learning to value her own self-image more than what some stupid teenagers think.
School's not what you remember, huh?
I'm just embarrassed I let them get to me. Those girls probably still believe people like them for their personality and that recycling is real.
And over time, while bonding with Beth, they both become close friends, each idolizing and lifting up the other. And there's this really cool dichotomy shown here in that they both recognize Summer becoming more like Beth as goals, whereas we all know Beth's biggest fear is becoming like her father.
Oh my god, I'm totally turning into my mother. Goals.
I love this version of you. You were able to achieve so much in there. Hashtag girl boss.
I hate when grown women call themselves girls.
Oh, same, me too. That was ironic.
Beth even kisses up to Summer. She wants this close relationship so badly. She's so starved for this close parent-child bond. It doesn't exactly make her a better mother, but it does make her someone who wants to be a better mother. Anything but like her father.
Oh god, I'm turning into my father.
That's all you had to say, partner.
And in the end, they both learn that Summer just needs to be Beth's daughter. They unblur that line of their relationship, potentially showing Beth she shouldn't idolize her own father, and that kids and parents don't need to be friends to have a loving and healthy relationship. It's just being there, being present, that truly counts.
Honey, you shouldn't have to be a lost middle-aged woman yet. Take it from me, it sucks. And the joy of being 17 is not knowing anything, including how hard it's gonna get.
Yeah, I guess I'm sorry for what I said. I just don't know how to be your friend.
You don't have to be. You're my daughter.
Summer definitely got the shallowest development this season, especially in terms of self-reflection and overcoming personal trauma, seeing as it was her Matrix evolved self that really got a chance to deal with it, and that was quickly erased. But her storyline with Beth here speaks to Rick's arc to a T. He is reframing his brain to put his family first and focus on making up for his grievances as a petty and selfish person, making up for all the Ricks across the multiverse who abandoned their Beths and Dianes. And in the end, as we all know, he makes the ultimate sacrifice, which only hits harder thanks to episodes like this one, which tee that up thematically. Again, this episode does work as a season premiere, setting up the central themes and this overarching Rick and Beth arc, but as a mid-season finale, it works even better in reframing your brain going into the latter half of the season, where those are all dialed up to 11. And so, kicking off my top 5, I have episode 6, The Curixis Case of Benjamin Button. Now, I was definitely hesitant when I heard that this was going to be yet another Beth and Space Beth episode. I mean, after Bethic Twinstinct, I think my concerns were valid. But this one proved to be a fantastic step in the right direction for both the Beths and us fans of the show, as it forces them to regress, process those emotions of abandonment, and patch up the rift between them and their father.
I didn't leave. My Beth died.
Yeah! Well, someone left us!
This has been a huge weight on Beth's shoulders since the very beginning. She has gone through so many phases within her relationship with Rick, from enabling to resentment, all driven by the fear of being abandoned once again, that it felt like it was finally time to internalize those feelings and find a way to move on.
I thought cloning was supposed to make us happy. I hate my life, and I know you have to hate yours. Hey!
Becoming a clone was supposed to make things easier, but it proved to just be another deterrent for actually confronting those feelings of resentment, and this episode addressed that in full.
Proud.
Proud?
Proud of you for making me old and beating the shit out of me.
Beth hasn't really changed this season so much as she has grown, or learned. Much like how Rick was put through the ringer last season, being forced to confront his resentments, his trauma, his regrets, so that his path forward could be paved. And this season, we saw him make the biggest self-sacrifice we've ever seen. We actually saw him grow as a person. So, for once, I'm actually looking forward to seeing how the Beths will develop next season, seeing as that groundwork has now been laid.
Ooh, say something racist.
What?
I won't do that, but something I will say is that I'm very grateful we got a wackadoodle B-plot this time around, featuring yet another theme park gone wrong, the infamous Danny DeVito guest starring as an absolute lunatic, and Morty finally showing he's learned not to make fun of Rick. I guess the Vat of Acid episode finally synced in, huh?
I'm not gonna shit on it too hard because I know you'd punish me, but isn't this just a mid-90s outdoor mall?
From this B-plot to the psycho kid Beths and poor innocent Gene, this felt like one of the most well-rounded episodes of the season for me, providing great bouts of humor to balance the heavier arcs and themes this episode had to tackle for the sake of true character development.
I guess this is closer to how I remember it.
Oh, I stepped on a rusty nail.
At least Jerry got hurt.
But squeaking in just above it at number 4, I have episode 2, Valkyric. This one is probably too high and might just be my second hot take of the day. To be fair, I did debate switching these last two, seeing as my ratings for them are tied, but I'm gonna have to stand by this one. Someone's got to. If Charixis' B-plot were just a tad stronger or more thematically tied to the A-plot, I think it would have come out on top, but Valkyric is simply put too much fun for me to have it any lower.
Hey, good news, the queen is dead. Bad news, I didn't do it. Worse news, I need a lift.
I can't approve an extraction from an unapproved assassination. I'll have to call an emergency meeting.
I'm going to die. Can I just ask, what does someone have to do to achieve the level of trust you place in this random man?
I trust plenty of people.
Name 2.
Easy, Bird Person, and Cisco.
Cisco's at the same level as Bird Person?
Yeah.
Looks like we both need an antidote. So, tenuous alliance?
No, unlikely allies. We got our Slimer.
She gets it from her mother.
No one gets to say the phrase rent-free after I die. It dies with me. I did everything you could do with it. Rent-free. Rent-free.
There were so many great gags in here, from bureaucracy satire to pop culture heavy references, and yeah, they didn't all land, but I can only think of one episode whose humor landed more consistently for me. We'll talk about it next, actually. And after Summer of All Fears, this one just set such a great tone for the season, especially in terms of continuity expectations. Here we get the continuation of Space Beth's escapades with the Defiants and their fight against the Galactic Federation, who also saw their tentative end here, the return of the newly rehabilitated Bird Person and his bird daughter, and of course the continuation of the Clone Beth saga.
I really hope I am the clone, because I never asked to be born.
Clone or not, that's still my blood in your veins.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to overcome that.
I had honestly thought we were going to get confirmation on who the real Beth was this season when Valkyric first released, and while it seems my hopes were shattered, at least for the time being, it doesn't diminish how fun this one was, playing with my emotions and speculations like that, and how well it sets up Space Beth's character for Charixis. Honestly, this episode walks so that Charixis can run, and that speaks volumes to how well they bounce off one another. But that said, my heart still calls out to this Rick and Spacebath adventure, and the return of Bugan here is just the cherry on top.
Oh, hey, Bugan.
Hey, Rick. Rick, pretty cool to see you working with your daughter. Pretty hot.
Okay. Yeah.
Please don't fuck my coworkers.
Hey, you called me.
But kicking off the 3 episodes which I think belong in the great tier of Rick and Morty, I have my last hot take of the day. That's right, episode 4, The Last Temptation of Jerry. Now, normally I find myself very off-put by the overly weird and sexual episodes, but something about this one fusing together elements of body horror, historical roots of a holiday in place of mere religious fanaticism, and the progression of human civilization into its spoof of the Santa Claus just made it work so well in my eyes.
Well, I truly thought Easter was a zero holiday, but Jerry, you've been Easter Claused.
Oh no!
I am such a sucker for holiday episodes, and I honestly think that if this one had come out during the spring, it would have landed even better, but I will reserve final judgment for that next year.
Base Christians? Isn't that a conflict of interest? Hey, don't scan me, I'll scan you.
I thought this was by far the funniest episode of the season. Maybe that's a hot take, I don't know, but I just thought they were firing on all cylinders with social commentary, witty one-liners, and hilarious character moments.
Recent thaw. This altitude should be permafrost. God, I do not want to say climate change on this show. I don't know which way Zaslav voted. He's going for the last egg! Stop the dentist! They got the egg! How will we know where to go? Morty, it's one word. We just said it. Andromeda. All right, to Matabra! Are you messing with me?
The action is certainly over the top, as is the gory nightmare fuel with Jerry becoming a sex-obsessed, terraforming Easter bunny, and while the themes and messaging can feel like a weird Frankenstein amalgamation at times, I thought it actually all came together and served well for its satirical take on the absurdity of religion and its lore.
Can you even tell me what Easter is about?
It's when Christ was born. Or was murdered, maybe. I don't know. But we eat candy to remember. It's important.
When's Christmas?
December 25th.
And what's today's date?
April.
The idea that most people don't understand Easter, which is arguably the more religious Christian holiday compared to Christmas, is quite hilarious, and I thought the episode found unique ways to poke fun at both the artsy pagan blasphemers and the religious nuts who take it way too seriously.
Turn away. Turn away.
Who was that?
Honestly, Mom, don't ask. The less we know about holidays, the better.
Well said, son. Well said.
And I'll admit, while at first the ending didn't make a ton of sense to me, looking back, it does seem like the writers are simply trying to say that sometimes it's best to just avoid the subject of religion versus science in general. No one wants to open that can of worms anymore. And honestly, I can't exactly blame them.
What is the lore? Who do we help?
All in all, I found this to be a highly entertaining holiday episode where everyone had something to contribute, and it embraced the high concept, sci-fi weirdness we've all come to love and expect from this show. But hot takes aside, my top 2 have got to be uncontested, and so securing my runner-up spot is episode 8, No More Land. My boy Jerry definitely got a fair amount of time in the spotlight this season, from a clueless punching bag in Charixis.
More like Earth World.
What?
Like Jurassic World, the big sequel?
I don't know what you're saying.
Well, wasn't it called Earth Park?
No.
Oh.
To the unlikely hero standing up for his principles in Ricker Than Fiction.
That's it, Jerry. Give in to Hollywood. You know how to really succeed in this town? By turning your back on family.
I don't like that.
No! You could have had it all!
Guys, I'm back.
To starring in an entire episode featuring the greater world of Jerry nomads, refugees, and mob bosses.
Welcome to Grand Central. It's not my favorite place. Who are these bandana guys? Sometimes your family goes on an adventure and doesn't come back. The dude that runs this place, he collects Jerry's that get left behind. Come on, boss is ready to see you. Hey, boss. Mooch. Mooch? It's my road name. Who's this? Meet Eagleman. He's cool.
No More Land primarily serves the purpose of teaching Jerry that he is not constrained to his house just because he might be jobless or because his father-in-law might begrudgingly hate his guts.
Jerry, I'm still angry at you for talking to me. Ah!
By way of Mooch Jerry, his world is opened, literally by way of the road, a series of leftover cracks in the multiverse, and his eyes are opened, metaphorically, as they both come to grips with where they stand in the eyes of their wives and children.
We are happy, but that doesn't mean we hate you.
Jerry's trying to apologize.
No, I deserve it. I thought you took me for granted, but it was the other way around.
Guys, I found him! He was in the bedroom!
I thought I checked in here.
What, you guys were looking for me?
Okay, good. You found him. Told you I didn't compost his ass. God, get blamed for everything.
We were so worried about you, Jerry.
You missed Morty mating with an octopus.
It'll probably happen again.
There's no doubt that the real spectacle of this episode surely has to do with its incredible world building, showcasing new dimensions while also connecting the episode back to season 2 by way of Paul Fleischman.
Hello? Oh my God, Jerry! And there's two of you! Hi there, Paul Fleischman, CPA.
But it also puts the character of Jerry under a microscope, fleshing out his ambitions and insecurities, and forcing him to grapple with those familiar themes of self-worth and redemption, seeing as he finds his backbone here and discovers not just his status within his household, but the value he still has to contribute. It's a low-key episode in terms of overarching canon or stakes, but it's so charming, so intimate, so raw, and all by way of the most underrated and forgotten member of the Smith family. But hey, that's Rick and Morty for you.
What? It's the culture of the show. You're supposed to watch it naked.
It is the culture of the show, honey.
However, there can be no disagreement. Coming out on top is none other than the season finale, Hot Rick. My thoughts on this episode have only solidified upon rewatch. This is the show at its best, bringing back key players and plot lines such as Memory Rick to push Rick C-137 further in his development, actually making the self-sacrifice he had never been able to do before of forgetting Diane so that he can finally move past his trauma, make amends for his mistakes and regrets, and become the best family man that he can possibly be.
I took the memory of your mom out of my head. Now I'm more emotionally open.
What? You took mom out of your brain? You took mom out of your brain?
Don't be weird. It's not like I haven't tried other ways to move on. I'm trying something new. It's working. Hop off the sack.
Everything from season 8 regarding Rick and the Beth saga comes to a head within this finale, showcasing a traumatized Beth and a more emotionally available Rick, embracing not just season 8's continuity, but also utilizing tons of details from the latter half of the show's canon, and delivering one of the most shocking moments of the entire show's run, with Space Beth kicking the bucket.
This is how we stay a family!
Oh, thank God.
Dad?
This isn't the funniest episode from the season, not by a long shot, but thematically, story-wise, character development-wise, this is one of the strongest outings of the show since its inception, and it easily earns the #1 spot on my ranking today. But those are just my thoughts on the season as a whole and how I would rank them at this moment in time. It's certainly a very volatile ranking, and these episodes have such smaller gaps between them in terms of quality compared to previous seasons that I would imagine some shifting to occur after multiple rewatches. But that said, I did take a look at IMDb's ratings to see how well my ranking shaped up comparatively, and as I expected, there were definitely some hot takes, but overall, I think most of it lines up with the general consensus.
From now on, I'm just gonna be an impossible to please fan.
You said it.
What?
I will say, I might have been wrong about getting confirmation on who the real Beth was this season, but something I wasn't wrong about is we got a lot more of those mottos.
Full heart, full chart.
Get your mouth round it.
Fresh planet, fresh start.
Fresh planet, fresh start.
We have a slogan now?
Catchy, huh?
I had to do it. I had to do it for mom. This is how we stay a family. This is how we stay a family!
Now I'm just worried that they're gonna live in my head rent-free.
What was that rent-free in your head shit?
It's dumb people saying something meaningless because they learned a new
It
phrase.
just means you're thinking about something.
Focus, Dad!
But if you'd like more of my in-depth thoughts to live rent-free in your head, I did put out weekly episode reviews and deep dives, which you can check out by using the links in the description below or by clicking that playlist in the outro. If you don't have the time, or if you're just tired of hearing my voice, but you still want to support the channel, then consider subscribing, liking, and sharing this video with another fan of Rick and Morty, and commenting below how you would rank these episodes. But as for now, that's going to be it from me. Thank you all so much for tuning in and sticking around. I will see you all next time.